Today's show is sponsored by Adventures Unlimited Press. Take your mind on a literary journey and go to adventuresunlimitedpress.com to purchase books from our famed experts right here on Truth Be Told. That's adventuresunlimitedpress.com.
What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Welcome to Truth Be Told, where we believe an experience becomes truth. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and along with me now, world-renowned psychic, Eddie Connor.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to our new installation of the Psychic Cafe. Today, Tony and I are launching the show with a clairvoyant master healer. Her name is Karin Inana Solo, and she's been a passionate healing arts professional for most of her adult life.
Karin provides full-spectrum healing, which addresses all layers of the human energy field.
That's right, Tony. She also specializes in repairing the energetic structure of the aura, spiritual surgery, as well as past life healing.
And Karin works closely with the help of the Divine Master Council.
Which we've had some first-hand experiences with. Now, also in 1990, Karin discovered the gift for hands-on healing, and this became her quest in studying the multidimensional field of spiritual energy healing. She has since become a pioneer in the art of self-healing and synthesizing a radical new approach which uses all facets of the multidimensional fields. It gives you the keys to the kingdom that is your life. Karin is a graduate of the Brennan Healing Science School and the Art of God Life of Choice program. She is the founder of the Heart of Healing, and she has also developed the Reclaim the Power to Heal Yourself program. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our master healer, Karin Inana Solo. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
I'm Tony Sweet.
And we're here with Karin Inana. It took me a long time to learn to say that right. Am I saying it right?
Inana.
Okay. I'm
She
not.
was looking at you like, it's close enough.
Yeah.
And Karin, she is a master healer, and some of what she specializes in is repairing the energetic structure of the aura. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Spiritual surgery. Have I done spiritual surgery yet?
I think it may have been in your sessions, but not as a primary focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. Past life healing and other things. And you started your own. What's the name of your website? It's
Heartflamehealing.com.
Perfect. And it's an amazing, detailed, it's kind of industry-ish website too, like we were talking about with Sam Tator earlier. And so it's really clean, it's easy to follow, and it's very engaging and informative.
Lots of information. I always say that if you read my website before you come and see me, you're going to get a whole lot more out of being with me in person because you're prepared.
Yeah. And I've worked with you about 5 times now, and every single time we work together, something different happens. And the first time I came, I was so out of it. I was like, this feels so good. I don't know if anything's happening. Then I was all zippy and electrical, and everybody's like, what are you doing? Why are you so happy all of a sudden? I'm like, I don't know. And then I had to everything kept pointing back to the sessions with Karin. And last time we had a chance to talk, I talked way too much about my session because it was Skype, and now we have you in person.
Yes.
So we want to ask you, first and foremost, how you got started as a master healer, and then where you're going with it.
So long journey. You know, it's like I didn't know that I was preparing with everything that I was doing to be a healing presence, which is what I am now. And I think, what happened is that at a certain point of my life, and I'm 70% done with writing my book, and so the story is in my book, and what happened at a certain point in my life is that it became really important for me to do what makes sense and not just to work to make money. It was very, very important. Even, when I decided, what I wanted to study, it's like it really had to make sense to me. It couldn't just be for the money. And it was not a straight road. I started out making artificial limbs and braces in Germany. Ask me some questions.
Yeah, meaning, so you got started kind of in the medical community
Yes.
before you got started in the healing community.
Yes, exactly. And part of being an orthopedic technician, you have to read the pathological history of a person. So I was reading lots of pathological histories of people, and the first thing that happened to me is that I thought I was having everything that I was reading about.
Oh.
Very typical sort of occurrence for people that are in starting out in the medical field. And after I graduated, I had a client and I was making a brace for him and because he wasn't able to sit up in the wheelchair because he had bone cancer. But we were not able to talk about it because we were not allowed to talk about it. But there was some kind of transference that happened between me and this young man because we were roughly the same age that really touched a place in me. Because when I went home, I kept thinking about him and I'm going, he has this bone disease, 24/7, and I get to go home. And it just really struck a chord with me that making artificial limbs and braces was fine. I actually really enjoyed it, but what I really wanted to talk to this person because he knew I was dying. We knew that he was dying, but we couldn't talk about it. And so I really got interested in the soul, like what animates the physical body. That was the first time that I was really, like I took it's like I couldn't deny the emotion and the interest and the impact that this young man had. And he did pass away about less than a year after I worked with him.
Wow.
But he's still here.
Yeah, well, of course, on a higher plane in multiple dimensions, and the soul is eternal and all the fun stuff that we get to learn when we do this work. So what brought you from Germany to here? What was the impetus to boom, boom, here?
I wanted to spread my wings. I had a moment that was accumulating over time. I never felt actually, after I arrived here in the United States, especially in California, I realized that Germany was never my home.
Yeah.
And, sometimes that happens. I put my feet here on the ground and I looked around and I'm like, wow, this is my home. And then in that moment, I realized that Germany was not my home.
And I bet you had the same feeling I did when I first came to LA. I was like, I know I've been here before and I'm supposed to be here.
Oh, yeah.
I
never looked back. I never even had, homesickness.
Oh, that's.
But I had homesickness all the time while I was in Germany.
Oh, well,
I just didn't know,
Same way. In
where.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Now, the last time you were on the show, we talked a little bit about the chakras, and we
Yeah.
talked about the aura, and what would be little soundbite snippets of how you can help Tony's audience understand, first of all, what the aura is.
Okay. So some people have heard about the aura and they think that it's some kind of esoteric idea that may or may not be emanating from our physical body. And that is what most people sort of like. They think it's mysterious. It may or may not be emanating from our physical body. But what it really is the go-between between our spiritual reality and our physical reality. And the aura actually is it's the blueprint for everything that is physical, but it's really the go-between between the spirit that animates the physical body.
Yes.
Is anchored to the physical body by the aura. And so I'm going to take a little shortcut to, when people are passing away, that you can literally see the aura dissolving the first 3 layers of the field, and then from the heart up, as the spirit really leaves the body, the aura completely dissolves. No aura, no life. So everything that happens in the physical body happens also in the aura. I have never found a healthy aura when somebody comes to me and says, I have this, I have this challenge, I have, this problem is my body. And you look at the aura and it is always found in the aura.
Yeah.
I've never seen a healthy aura when somebody comes to me and says, I have this problem, please,
So how do you see the invisible aura, as it were?
Well, I don't so much see it as I'm an emotional and physical empath, and also I feel it.
Yes, that's why my hands were out like this. The image I got was if you had a blindfold on and you're feeling around in a new room you hadn't been in before, you would know where the switch is and the sofa is and the coffee table, and you would learn to feel your way through.
Yeah, but I also see it. But
Yeah.
it's called higher sense perception, and we all have a certain kind of higher sense perception. You have the higher sense perception of being clairvoyant. You see, there's higher sense perception of being clairaudient, hearing, and clairsentient, feeling, and also being kinesthetically gifted, and also feel into space. So first, when somebody comes to me or I engage with somebody energetically, I will feel them, and I will feel them. I will feel their field physically, and I also feel the emotions, and I can also feel the distortions of the field. So somebody may come, for a session, they say, I want this, this, and this, and all of a sudden I feel a pain in my liver, and I go, but we have to go first there.
Because that in that moment for you, the liver, you can do all of the stuff they want, but if you don't treat the liver first, then the other stuff's not going to hold as much.
Because there's a sequence.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. And Eddie, why don't you explain what happened the last time our wonderful, beautiful guest was in, well, not studio, but she Skyped in.
Last time Karin was here, she was doing Skype from her office, and Tony and I were sitting here doing the interview just as we were doing moments ago, and a light blew out right here, one of the most primary lights. And we sort of made a joke about it that, we have a high-frequency healer here, a master healer, and the energy was so intense, boom, it affects electrical things. This time, she's in studio, and something that's never happened, all the lights went out, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights.
And it shut the whole system
It was a
down.
power surge.
Literally, the power surge happened, the lights go down, up, down, and then everything went to black.
So we apologize. It's her fault. No, sorry.
And
Accept full responsibility.
yeah. And it's a testament to super high frequency and being in alignment and attuned to that non-physical, pure, positive energy that can really positively affect a person's life. And so I have a question for you, Karin, and it is, why do you think a lot of people are not paying attention to what their feelings are trying to tell them?
Well, one is, where the focus is.
Yeah.
A lot of us are really, really busy and are being trained out of having your, listening to your feelings, your sensations, and being in harmony with your body, because we're all being trained to be out of harmony with our body.
Yeah.
And you do that long enough, the support structure goes down as well. So that's actually an epidemic right now that I'm seeing when people are coming in. The first thing always is your, is your aura functioning? And if it's not functioning, what part of the aura is not functioning? And across the board, most people's first chakra is not functioning. And what that means is that to a large degree, people are losing the ability to really connect with their body and receive the messages that their body is giving them as to what to eat, when to rest. It's because everybody is too busy being out in the world and to pull too thin. Yes, yeah.
And the first time I went to see you, that was my issue. I was starting to have migraines and involuntary vomiting. My joke was I'm a supermodel. You better work. It's an old song about supermodels. And you immediately went and said, I'm going to paraphrase, I wasn't grounded, my root chakra and some other stuff. And that was one of the first areas you went in, and it went away.
And what went away?
The migraines went away.
Yes.
There was a time where I was sitting here and I would just have headache after headache after headache. Now, I haven't worked out in 10 days, and I have not walked and been outdoors for 10 days, and I can feel it wanting to come back because that energy that I expend isn't going in a good place. So I have to pay attention to it. But
especially for somebody like you who's also, works with other people, and you go between the spiritual plane and the human plane, and you're fairly high vibrational. The functioning of the first chakra, and I just want to say this, when we talk about a chakra and an energetic structure, the energetic structure that it is not an esoteric idea that may exist or may not exist. It is actually an energetic structure that supports us in very specific ways. And, it can wear out, but it can also be restructured. And when that particular structure, the first chakra, is also the go-between between our physical body and the earth, because we have a symbiotic relationship with the earth. And when the first chakra stops functioning and becomes blocked or has tears in it, then we're no longer able to receive the nurturing earth energies, and we're also not able to release stress into the earth. So that's, when the first chakra goes down, we're not effectively releasing stress anymore.
Wow.
And we're also not being supported by the nurturing earth energies.
Well, and I love how you say it's not esoteric. I mean, it's scientifically proven the human energy field, or what I think science calls it, the electromagnetic field. And every living thing has it. Every plant, every rock, every pebble, a piece of bark on a tree has an electromagnetic field. And it's invisible. We don't see it with the naked eye. It is there, and the same with the chakras, which I think means wheels of light.
Wheels of light, it's another name,
And I believe we're composed of light. We come from light, we are light, and then we put that light into these physical apparatuses or meat suits.
Yeah, meat suits. I like the term meat suits.
and then when we get out of whack with our light or lack thereof in our meat suits because we're not grounded or otherwise, then we get to go see master healers like you who help us get reconnected, as Abraham Hicks would say, tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the stream of pure positive energy that creates worlds. Now, I would love to, not to put you on the spot, if you're comfortable with it, it would be fun to show the audience how you tune into somebody. And I think we should use Tony Sweet as an example of what's going on in his energy.
Guinea pig.
Be happy to. So,
All right.
So what is it that you would like to have help with?
Let's see. Where do I start? No. So, are you more physical, emotional, spiritual? What is your, or does it matter?
Well, I go wherever it is that you need assistance.
Okay. So,
and I can do all. I can do physical, emotional, mental, spiritual.
Well, 2016 is going to be, my work ethic has always been there. It's going to be there. But I used to work out 6-7 days a week and keep myself in shape and eat the right foods. And for the last probably 3 years, I haven't really done that. I pretty much stopped working out about 2 years ago. My lower back, my mid back, and my neck always hurt. Oh. And it has affected me, the motivation to want to, lift weights anymore or do some exercise.
Yeah, of course.
So that is something I've went to doctors. They're like, oh, well, they just never really want to seemed to help me with that. So that's something that I want to focus on.
Yeah, that's
So-
very typical, by the way.
Yeah.
That's very, very typical. Okay, good. So do I have permission to look at your
Of
field?
course, I would
Okay.
love that.
So we know that Karin ate
So-
her Wheaties before you came.
I did, yeah. Well, something equivalent to eating. So your first chakra is not functioning. So that's let's see, and this has been going on for about like 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's about right.
Did something happen then?
Yeah, that's when I hurt my back.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And so your second chakra in the back is out, your sacral chakra, so that would make sense. And that's also your, that's, I call it the Mojo Chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quantity of life force energy, quantity of creative energy, also quantity of sexual energy. So when that chakra goes down, we tend to be exhausted and we don't really feel like doing
Guilty.
much. And it's hard to get out of bed. It's like, oh, God, how am I going to get through the day?
Right.
So let's see. Yeah, your whole back is down. I don't really see that much. That has something to do with your will. And this is, okay, that's good. You have a front to back split, and so it's a matter of the will. And this is, this is interesting. This is actually not a physical issue.
Oh, really?
It's an energetic issue. It can be addressed with energetic restructuring, but the root of it is not physical. The root of it is a past life leftover that got triggered by I don't know, how did you hurt your back?
Well, my neck and my mid back has always bothered me since I was a teenager, but about 3.5 years ago, I was trying to be this strong man, and somebody sat in my lap, and I thought, I'm just going to stand up and pick him up.
Oh, while you
And
were sitting.
While I was sitting, and my back went pow, and I was just like, and I couldn't hardly walk for like 2
Yeah.
weeks. So
Yeah.
I think that's when
So
that started.
You just confirmed, because when you said that your mid back has been hurting since you were a teenager, that's
Right.
when this past life started kind of like knocking on your physical door,
Right.
letting you know that there is something to be released. But most of us, we don't really know that. First of all, there's like, do you believe in reincarnation? Do you don't? And when something hurts, something is hurting. You don't necessarily think there's a past life surfacing.
Well, I knew there was something more to this because when I go to the doctor and get MRIs, X-rays, they're like, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, that's when I'm like, there has to be something
That's
from
the
a past life.
telltale. Those are the people that I always work with. They say, I've been to the doctor. They can't really find anything, but I'm hurting. And so that's always tells me, and then I look at the field. So this is a very, typical organization, but you can be helped. You can be helped.
And
yeah,
just
absolutely.
an addendum to that, which may or may not be relevant, is when Tony was young, and I'm going to paraphrase and use your words, okay? He was a really heavy, overweight kid. And then as he started to come into his teenage years, he got healthy. He lost all of the weight. He went from being a chubby, kind of invisible kid to kind of like a demigod, really good-looking football star, and went from being invisible to everybody going, hey, how you doing?
It was very uncomfortable, actually.
Yeah.
What's funny, when I was heavy, I was 250 pounds when I was up to 16. I was funny and kind of outgoing. I lost weight, and I become very insecure. People even said, you don't seem like the same Tony.
You
Yeah.
became insecure as you
Very-
lost the weight?
Yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Because he was getting
Interesting.
attention he
I
had
was.
never gotten
Right.
before.
Yeah, but you
He
got
didn't know
over
what
it,
to
right?
do with it. He got over it.
I did, and it took me a while.
On the physical earth plane, he got over
It
it.
took me till my mid-20s because I was extremely shy.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely shy.
Well, then you're like getting all this attention. Yeah, so that's some getting used
Yeah.
So
to.
it feels like a split off to me.
But somebody a long time ago told me that I was shot in the back. I was a soldier, but majority of the time I was like, this was years ago that I had, actually that's when
Sylvia
Sylvia
Brown.
Brown. And she told me many of my lifetimes were like spiritual people. Like, and she goes, but one of my last lifetimes I was shot in the back. And that's why I hate violence or don't like confrontation and stuff like that. But that's what she told me. And it was...
There's
yeah.
probably what I'm seeing is layers, not just one lifetime, but layers. Yeah.
So
I
what
mean,
can one do about that?
Well, you can come and see me.
I will.
Or we can work over distance. And of course, the first thing I would do is restructure your first chakra. And then we would go through systematically or not, depending on what happens after your first session. And then maybe we need to go right from the first chakra to the second chakra or to the back of the heart. So I don't know that. That would be, determined at the second session.
And what is first chakra? Just so people that out there...
Well, first
Good
chakra
question.
is the grounding chakra, and it goes from the perineum, right, cone-like structure, and
Right.
the wider part of the cone goes down towards the earth, and it governs the legs, the knees, the hips. It governs the spinal column, and also the sensations in the physical body, and helps you to respond to your physical needs. And when the chakra goes down, then we're not as responsive to our physical needs. We literally pull up and use our will to, make it through the day or
Right.
whatever we're doing. But
Just push through.
push through. But what happens is when the first chakra goes down, we tend to not be as relaxed anymore, even when you're resting. Like the rest is really not that restful.
Right. I wake up all the time.
And
Yeah,
I would think little things got on your nerves that normally would never bother you.
exactly. Irritation. There's less of a being state and more of like an agitated mental state.
Yeah.
And trust, see, there's an aspect to the first chakra that when your first chakra is functioning and you're really connected to your body and you're supported by the earth, you have the feeling of trust. It's not just an idea of trust, but you actually feel calm and relaxed. Usually people don't feel calm and relaxed when their first chakra is not functioning. But you look pretty, you're like, you're managing.
I don't get
It takes them a
Yeah,
lot.
it takes me a lot. But I like Eddie, I like my alone time. That's where I can kind of keep myself relaxed.
Yeah.
If I had to go out all the time and be around people all the time, I might be a little irritated.
I would too.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time alone if I'm not working.
Yeah. So, what I got is that's not your, the structure in your field that went down first. It's actually a reaction to your back pain. What went down first is the back of your heart. And the back of the heart is usually, it's like, see if that fits for you. When the back of the heart is closed, then and your heart is beautifully open, so you give out love and you're great with other people, but there may be this thing in the back of your head or in the back of your heart where where one feels when the heart chakra is closed that the world is not truly a loving place to who you are personally. Does that?
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah.
activates more trust issues.
My biggest thing is trust.
Yeah.
Do you
I mean-
trust yourself?
More now than ever, but
Do you trust yourself?
more now than ever.
Yeah, but what I'm getting
my-
is that there's
was
an
good.
issue of betrayal.
Yeah.
That and
Yeah.
you're saying so that's your and so that also comes from the distant past. It's actually it may be present in your life right now, so that you look at it to resolve it. But you really nodded your head when I said betrayal.
Yeah, well,
really-
it was more of, I guess, it was probably more childhood. It could have been something from a
What-
past
Yeah,
life,
of
but
course.
A combination
yeah.
of all
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
above: relationships, work environments, family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
childhoods. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a big ball of twine, as it were,
And-
for everybody.
And how do you notice when you do work with people? Do you notice instantly, or does it, sometimes it depends on the resistance of the person?
This is why I love what I do. So many times it's immediate, and it is definitely, it's immediately tangible as it is happening. So people will say, wow, I don't think I've felt my legs ever like this, or I have not been relaxed like this in so many years I can't remember.
I used to think I was like I was getting like MS or something, and I know it sounds silly, but because my legs felt so heavy.
Yep.
I'd get up
Yep.
and I'm like, God,
Yep.
and I'd go to the doctor and they're like, no, nothing's wrong with you.
I went to Kaiser for a year,
Yeah.
and they were like, nothing's wrong
Energetic
with you.
structure.
Yeah, it would. I would go twice in that year. I went with my overnight bag to the emergency room.
Thinking you're going to stay.
Yeah, well, I told him, I was like, look, I am not leaving until you figure out what's going on. At one point, one of my friends said, I've worked in the medical world for 25 years. You go in and say your heart is acting up, and they're going to do all of the tests they need to do for you in the emergency room. And I did, and they were like, no, nothing's wrong with you. Why are you here? You don't look sick. I'm like, okay.
But it's good
It
that,
is.
that you had the tests.
Yes.
And so, then it's real, but it's in the energetic structure of your field.
And I come from the school of thought, we've talked about this a lot, that I believe we as humans are 99.99.9% non-physical energy. And our body is less than 1% of that which creates our reality on the earth plane. And what you work with is that light and life force energy, and help tweak it so that we do have so that we feel like we're living at 100% in these bodies.
Because that's one of my biggest fears is I don't, well, I hate to say don't.
No, it's okay.
Throwing out negative, but I want to make sure that as I age, get older, I want to enjoy my life on this earth and not give in to, the heaviness or the pain or whatever. And I'm just, that worries me. Not getting older itself, but just I don't want to be.
Oh, we're going to have so much fun working together.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
See, as human beings at large, we don't accept the fact that we are fully creative beings.
Right.
And what we say goes. Our language is creative, and our language is especially creative in the subtle world. And our language is also creative. We can actually create our field if we communicate with ourselves right and communicate with others right too.
Well, do you work with people? Because it sounds like there's past lives. There's from injuries from the past life to emotional issues to actual physical issues.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Can you help people of all injuries? Because like my mother.
Well, that's very broad. But
Right.
people come to me that have back pain, like
Right.
you are.
Right.
They're like, I've been to the doctor. They can't find anything. There's nothing wrong with me. Very physical experience. Knees, right? People's knees go out. Each joint has a chakra, an energetic structure. So I myself have repaired my knees many times. Yeah. Shoulder pain, liver pain, kidney pain. Yes, people come to me because they have very physical issues, or they're recovering from cancer, or they're recovering from an operation, or they are preparing for an operation. I worked with a woman in the UK who was preparing for a nose transplant because she had cancer of the nose. And the nose transplant wouldn't hold. And, it was just, it's a very difficult operation. Right. I think she was onto her third or fourth one. And her daughter hired me to help her. And it was at first a stealth operation because her mom didn't really believe in energy healing. And so, but we organized it that... Anyways,
right. So then
we organized it, and it was first a stealth operation, and then her mom was on board because she started feeling better and better as she was preparing for the nose transplant. And then as she was getting ready to have the nose transplant, she knew that I was working on her, and she was very excited about it. And I prepared her. I helped prepare her for the actual physical operation. So when I went into spiritual surgery, which is I hold a place, I open up a corridor of light in which spiritual surgeons and light beings come down through this corridor and do the very specific work of actually doing the physical operation in energy first. So I was able to watch the whole operation, and instruments were being passed through me, through my hands, through my head. This was when I was still doing hands-on healing. And that was she got to keep her nose. That's the operation that was successful, and she now has a new nose.
I love that. How much? And obviously, that a lot of that is molecular healing, correct?
Yeah, and also like the nerves,
Right.
the blood vessels. It's amazing what the physical surgeons are doing is so amazing. I just got to say that I have a real, I'm in awe, and I have so much appreciation for it. But it wasn't holding because it was such a difficult operation. But in combination with spiritual surgery, that surgery was a success.
One of the things you do in the sessions that I appreciate is in the beginning, once you set the space and the tone and we start the session, you have us do an invocation.
Yes.
And that is along the lines of I fully accept, or I allow,
Yes,
or do not allow. And I love it because you're not the one sitting there fixing us.
No.
You're helping us hold the space where if we come out of it like this, we're allowing. If we don't, we're not allowing. And it's putting the responsibility back on the person who's receiving the treatment.
Yes, so what you are referring to is, and for the listeners out there, is what I ask a person to say. And, whatever you're dealing with, there may be a healing happening here right now spontaneously for all the people that are listening. It is my choice to fully receive the healing physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, and especially how it is relating to my longing, my inner heart's dream, and the fulfillment of my purpose, and that is my choice. So in that way, when we're saying that, you take full responsibility for your healing, and you're saying, yes, I am willing to receive, and not show me if you can do it. It's like, yes, I take responsibility. I'm making a choice for healing. Very, very important.
Did you ever see the movie The Green Mile?
I did, yes.
Did you, when you help people, do you ever take on their pain, or did you learn how to divert that?
Yeah, that's of course when you're jumping in there with people who are in pain, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain. Of course, sometimes some of it gets stuck on me, and if you're working with a lot of people, then a lot of doo-doo gets stuck on you. So this is it's called merging with somebody else's trauma, and it's actually a big subject that I'm talking about in my book too. And so over time, of course, you become better and better at what you're doing as you become better and better at more efficient at what you're doing. And I've learned not to merge, or to merge for a particular purpose and then to unmerge by choice.
Right. Okay.
So, and there's, there are certain things that one can do. You can take a baking soda salt bath. You can go for a walk on the beach. You can go for a swim in the ocean. I, highly recommend meditating before going to bed and when waking up. And drinking plenty of water, and all those things, really help. Whether I'm working with somebody, helping somebody to recover their good health, or, you merge out there with the world and doo-doo gets on you.
Right.
And boy, it does.
Yeah.
And I'm now more cognizant than ever before of disengaging, that's the wrong word, but disengaging after each session before I start another session. Even if it's on the phone and I'm doing the session, it's just like I am a conscious person by nature, and I'm a kind person by nature. So when someone comes to the door and you bring them in, I just want to get right to it with them, because I feel like it's a sign of responsibility and respect for their time. And so I would not do the disconnection from the person before them, because I didn't want them to feel. And I was like, wait a minute, dude. Just tell them, let me go and disconnect from the person I just read for, and then we can get into your wonderful, clean energy field. They're like, okay.
Oh, yeah, people are always on board, you know,
Yeah.
for that.
When it's
yeah.
like giving them 190%.
Yeah, because you get to clear the vessel, and they get to have the wonderful benefit of that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm a psychic person. I mean,
Are you
really-
ever? Oh my
Yeah.
God!
And-
Yes.
and since I've been working with Karin, I'm not kidding. It's been like the doors and the windows are blown off, and just and
Eddie's
I've
one of
always
the most accurate. Then I mean, because you
Thanks.
are. No, I've known him a long time, and I've seen him a long time. I mean, he's one of the most accurate psychics I've seen.
so enjoy working with you,
We have
Eddie.
fun.
Yeah, it's a wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wow.
But you know what they just told me, they meaning spirit guides and angels? The reason I am extra clairvoyant and see things I normally don't see as clearly as I see them when I'm working with you is because she holds the space for that. And so, just for a second, last time I was there, I was on the table. We did the invocation, and I'm doing my thing, meaning nothing. I'm just relaxing and allowing. And Karin is doing her magic. And then within a matter of minutes, I'm on the table in your office while simultaneously I'm way through the woods somewhere. And I'm at this table that looks like a group of characters from Lord of the Rings, like about a dozen or so of them at this table that was carved out of a tree, and the tree, everything. And I'm looking through the woods while I'm talking to them back at me on the table in her office, but I'm out in the woods receiving the healing. And these were the guides and angels that worked with me whenever I was a kid that I had long forgotten about. And then they, with your help and holding the space, were showing me how they would call my name, how they got me out of bus wrecks and things like that, that I would have been in had I not heard them break through the veil and tell me what to do so I wouldn't be in a situation where I could be literally hurt or killed. And that's the kind of stuff that happens whenever I work with you. And now after the sessions, I'm out in the world, and even the readings now are more accurate than they've ever been, more visual.
Of course.
It's a direct extension of what you do.
Yeah, because your field is at a much higher organization. I always say our aura is our bioenergetic computer, and if you want to run a bigger program, you have to upgrade your software.
Yeah. Well, my software is upgraded.
Yes.
Like Beyonce, upgrade.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that, every year a lot of us are getting a new phone because we want to have the newest version. Well, our field is just like that.
Yeah.
We can get a new version that is an upgrade and has a higher level of functioning and allows us to function in the world according to what our purpose is and what we long for and desire.
Would you say your work is even more important for people, let's say like Tony and John, or people like myself who work with lots of people every day as opposed to people who don't?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody who works with a lot of people, but especially sensitive people who
Yeah.
work with a lot of people, that you jump right in there with people.
Yeah.
Like who they are at their core. Therapists, nurses.
Yeah.
I am my own best customer.
Yeah.
I get more work than anybody I know.
Which is so rare to hear a healer say.
Oh, no, I'm first.
That is what healing is supposed to be.
I keep my field top
Yes.
organized. Yes. So every morning I have my cup of tea, I do a meditation, and then I do my maintenance on my field, on my own field. And I've been doing this for years. So I have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours and clearings and restructurings. And it's one of the great benefits of doing this work. And I'm my own best experiment.
She's not only the president, but she's her own client.
That's right. Well, in newsflash, the word sensitive and highly sensitive people used to get such a bum rap. And I think it's one of the best gifts you can have as a human is to be a sensitive person to other people. However, you want to make sure you take care of you first and foremost. That's a hard one for healers. And you really set the you could do a whole little book just on that.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
And give people permission to take care of their own needs.
It's a must.
Yeah.
It's a must. So when I go hiking or I go to my yoga class or I go to the gym or I'm resting, that is my work just as much as it is my work, when I'm with you or when I'm here. It's really all just one thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow. And so we can get in touch with you through your website at Heart
Flame
Healing.
Heartflamehealing.com. Very informative website. And, call me for a free consultation.
Yeah, and I have lots of friends who have called you. And that's one of the things that they're like, free consultation. Okay, I'm calling Karin. And it's
Karin.
Yeah, Karin. Karin.
Karin.
Yeah.
Lord Ananda? No, Ananda.
Well, we all say it a little bit differently, so it's okay.
Well, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
I get a get out of jail
That's
free
why I was
card.
like, Karin.
Yeah, I can make your name a 7-syllable word. Karin. She's Korean. No, she's Korean. But she'll do the sessions, meaning you'll do the telephone consultations and tune in and see if it's a match or not.
Yeah.
And everybody that has called her that I've referred love her.
No, I don't want people to, spend time or money if it's not, if it's not right for them or if I cannot help them.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
hello.
Well, I'm going to call her.
I know you is.
I'm going to call Karin.
I know you are.
Yeah, please do.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
It's such a pleasure to
so
have you
much
in
fun.
studio with us
Yeah,
and making our
thank
lights
you.
go out. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so much fun to be here.
Twice, two times
I
in
know.
one.
Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you start this new year off right and start thinking about taking care of yourself and positive energy. Like I said, I noticed a lot of people on social media has come across so negative. Let's change that.
Yeah, let's change that.
Let's change that. Let's start doing some fun, positive things for ourselves and others. And if you missed this halfway through or you left when the lights went out,
the lights went out now.
this video will be up on YouTube. All of our podcasts are going to be up on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, our host page on ubnradio.com, and iHeartRadio. So make sure you go and like us all these places. Go to our website, truthbetoldwebtv.com. We have some great guests next week. We're going to have a best-selling author talking to us, Emmanuel, I guess it's Dogger?
From here, I can't read it from here. It looks like Dogger.
Dogger, and he's a co-creator of Real Life Miracles. And we also have, and we've never really talked about this on the show before, he is one of the leading experts for the Bermuda Triangle. So we're going to talk about that.
Well, I remember focusing on all that stuff whenever I was in high school.
I know.
The planes would fly over where they is, and the men would say, I need to send my wife over the Bermuda Triangle.
That's right. That's right before he put the life insurance into play.
Well-
All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you, and have a great new year. I am Tony Sweet,
I'm Eddie Connor.
and you're listening to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie on Universal Broadcasting Network. Stick around for Shar Vision.